It is Monday, October 14th, 2019. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was very educational. Get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Monday. Unfortunately, the instructor I was really hoping was going to be there wasn't there, but it's okay because we had Coach Paul, and Coach Paul is awesome. And so we walked through a bit of passing the closed guard today. Getting out of the closed guard. Getting around that closed guard. And so we worked probably... It's like one of my favorite things. And I say that because I really hate it, but it's like, you got to play a little bit of reverse psychology with yourself on it. Where, by hating it, you do it more than everything else. After a while, it becomes just like the arrow in your quiver. And so that's really the perspective I've taken with escaping the closed guard, because I get kind of excited sometimes, and it's one of the very few positions where I am quicker to lose composure. I mean, I am more composed when I got somebody on my back than I am when somebody's got their legs wrapped around my waist. And now I've had moments of inspirato there where I've done neat things here and there that have gotten me out of people's guards. But when I'm working against somebody who is more skilled, it's a point that I tend to get stuck on. But at the same time, I do have a lot of neat tools for retaining the guard. And I'll tell you what, I used every single one of them in today's class. We were doing some positional sparring where after we do the technique, and the guy had a lot of trouble getting out of my close guard. I think he passed like twice, whereas I passed like somewhere between 4 and 6 times. And not only that, I was actually utilizing more than one technique. I didn't just get out one way and just keep working that one way. And so, like I said, I feel like I'm kind of strong getting out of the closed guard. I'm not really easy to sweep, or at least I wasn't really easy to sweep today. For whatever reason, I managed to maintain my posture for the most part. But I gotta think there might be something to at least half giving in and then sliding back into like a half guard and then working back up to getting the underhook in, But I don't know. I didn't have any real trouble getting out of the closed guard, except for on the last time I was trying to think of a less efforted way to do it. And that was really the crux of how I was working, is that I'm trying to eliminate as much of the necessity to utilize strength as possible. That way I can kind of conserve it for when I really need it, where say I'm in a position where I could get a really easy Kimura if only I had the strength to disengage my arm and grab it, And so, yeah, like I said, the last couple times I was more focusing on low energy ways to do it, and I think I did okay. I managed to escape, like I said, somewhere between 4 and 6 times. But the techniques we were working today, I really like them. Although I gotta wonder how they would translate over to no-gi, or if it would be possible to, It's like you start from an upright posture, and then you grab the top of your opponent's pants, and you push, you like push against their torso, and push your back against their legs, and then walk your legs up and then drop down, and when you do that, it pushes their legs open and you're able to get around. I like that one. The other one I really liked, we were doing the same thing, except you push into your opponent and then you pop up onto your toes and like push into your opponent until they've opened up their legs, and then you sneak your elbows onto their hamstrings. And one thing I was doing on this that neither the instructor told me nor did my opponent actually, or a teammate, do this. But when I was doing it, I would get up to where I was crouched behind my opponent with them kind of curled up and stacked a little bit, right? And then I would step my leg right up next to my arm and then just turn. You know, if I just turn just a little bit to the left, their leg would slide right off of me, and I'm right there in side control. And so it's like, okay, that's pretty much the way I intend to do this from now on. And I didn't get an opportunity to actually try it out, though, or I might have had the opportunity and just neglected it. But nonetheless, that's what we were working today, getting out of that closed guard and getting around it. And like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. But let's go ahead and throw down into some music. I do have some articles up, so we're not entirely, swimming in the dark this evening. But yeah, as far as our first dance goes, we're going with Body Count, as if there's a real surprise there. A little bit of Talk Shit, Get Shot. First dance here on Coin Metal. A little bit of Cold Chamber there with Pig. Kind of let it run a little bit long on there, but these things happen occasionally. We get out of the shower a little late. What are you going to do? Anyway, as far as where we're going to go today, the first thing I got here, and I think it's kind of amazing that it's on Zero Hedge of all sources. I mean, you'd expect to see something like this on CoinDesk or maybe Cointelegraph or whatever. Anyway, it's on Zero Hedge of all places, and this is by Tyler Durden, as all things on Zero Hedge tend to be. And this was authored Monday, 10/14/2019 at 10:09. So yes, penis. G7 panics, says, quote, global stablecoins pose threat to financial stability. Holy shit, they finally noticed. Apparently this is authored by Aaron Wood via Cointelegraph.com. Holy crap, I called that. We're not gonna do the Zero Hedge thing. We're gonna call it from Cointelegraph by Aaron Wood. So yes, penis, a hard one at that. Report, G7 says global stablecoins pose threat to financial stability. And this is authored October 14th, 2019. No indication of time zone. The G7 group of nations has reportedly drafted a report which says, quote, global stablecoins pose a threat to the global financial system. According to the BBC, on October 13th, a draft report from the G7 outlined the various risks associated with digital currencies. It also said that even if member firms of the governing Libra Association addressed regulatory concerns, it may not get approval from the necessary regulator, stating, quote, the G7 believed that no stablecoin project should begin operation until the legal, regulatory, and oversight challenges and risks are adequately addressed. Addressing such risks is not necessarily a guarantee of regulatory approval for a stablecoin arrangement. Since when does the G7 think that they're a governing body that can tell us what the fuck to do with regard to stablecoins or cryptocurrencies or any of that other bullshit? Yeah, fuck off. Anyway, continuing on. The G7 also states that global stablecoins with the potential to scale rapidly could stifle competition and threaten financial stability if users lose confidence in the coin. The report will purportedly be presented to finance ministers at an annual meeting of the International Monetary Fund this week. Further problems for Libra? The BBC states that while the report does not single out Facebook's proposed Libra stablecoin project, it could spell further trouble for the already beleaguered proposed payment system. Global regulators are increasingly leaning on the project, with the Bank of England recently establishing provisions with which it must comply before it can be issued in the United Kingdom. Let's see what it is. They got a link here on establishing. Let's see what that leads us to. Yeah, it's not too old. We'll go for that too. Let's see. Continuing on, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will testify before the United States House of Representatives Financial Services Committee about Libra later this month. The head of the committee, Democratic Representative Maxine Waters, has been a noted critic of the project. Earlier this year, the committee drafted the Keep Big Tech Out of Finance Act. Libra has seen several major partner firms of its governing consortium leave the project recently. On October 4th, major payments network PayPal withdrew from the organization and was soon followed by Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and eBay. Why the fuck was MasterCard even involved in it? They've got their own fucking patented bullshit. Anyway, continuing on. Furthermore, Finco Services of Delaware initiated a lawsuit against Facebook alleging trademark infringement, unfair competition, and false designation of origin regarding the use of the Libra logo. The plaintiff is also suing its former designer, who did the logo work for Facebook, for reusing the design. Oh my god. It just gets better and better. You know, it's funny because we're actually observing Facebook go through every single trial and tribulation of Bitcoin and every other cryptocurrency out there. Even though I think sometimes I think this is just kabuki, right? It's that what they're trying to do is this, that they're trying to say or set up a case where they can point back to entities like Facebook and IBM and all these other big muckety-muck organizations that are following the rules, that are fully compliant, right? They're going to be able to point to them and say, you do it this way or you're non-compliant and we get to throw you in jail or take your shit away or some other bullshit. I really don't think that they have the time to be that cavalier about this shit. I'll just be honest there. Time. It seems to me like there are several things happening in the fiat market that are making the case for cryptocurrency look that much better. And I'm talking about things like, surveillance. That there is a growing need, or a growing perceived need, it's always been there, I think, for privacy. People wanting to have their digital lives be their digital lives. Not Facebook's, not Twitter's, not Google's, not YouTube's. Their digital lives. If they choose to monetize their content via platforms such as YouTube, that's their choice. And in Facebook, I think one of the biggest problems I have with Facebook is this, that when you write something, when you post something on Facebook, you're drawing the attention of other people to your content. Through, Facebook linking you to other people, or, you broadcast it to a friend and then, all their friends see it. But you are the one that's driving that, right? Well, when Facebook's page loads up, your little thing isn't the only thing that loads up. There's also little commercials in there, and people pay for that space on the website, and Facebook makes money off of that. Well, you should make money off of that too. If somebody sits there and reads your 5-minute soliloquy about whatever, and there's some ad on there and Facebook makes money on it, you shouldn't be making some money, I think, because you're creating the content that creates the presentation opportunity for Facebook to make money. But that's just my perspective. It's like, I think that there are enough monetizable mediums. There's like medium.com and other institutions where people will, I guess, pay you for articles. I haven't actually tried any of them out. All the content that I've posted online has been free. I don't try and monetize this shit because I don't want to get sued. And I don't know. I've been really unconventional about the way I've set this up, and at one point or another, I'd really like to get a lot more serious and have things like little ads. And I'm sorry about that, but homeboy got to make some money too. And but I would like to make it to where it was more than just educational for me and you. This is an opportunity for me to study up on this material too, because like when I'm reading these articles, I'm doing them fresh. I haven't gone through them before, and so in my mind, it gives me an opportunity to do things like read white papers. It justifies reading a fucking white paper is the reality that there are people out there listening to me read it. So, for me, that's been the primary driver for doing this, is the fact that, people do listen, and it's educational for both of us. At some point or another, though, we're going to have to change that relationship just a teeny tiny. But, so Facebook, I think that Facebook could satisfy everybody. They could. They really could. I'd really like to sit down with Mark Zuckerberg at a rate of $50,000 an hour, because the motherfucking can afford it. And I would work it out for him in less than 3 hours. I'd give him a small presentation, and he would be able to avoid all of this regulatory bullshit that these motherfuckers are trying to throw at him. I'm not even. I don't know. I'm tempted to just like withhold it, because this is like a quadrillion-dollar fucking idea, Mark. You could do this and like avoid all this bullshit. The biggest problem, and this is why Bitcoin is peer-to-peer, the biggest problem that Facebook is facing right now is this. They are trying to base their shit on fiat currencies. That is the dumbest fucking idea. I don't know who sold you on that, Mark. They're a fucking asshole. They got you barking up the wrong tree, man. Think about it this way. Your app is on like billions of fucking devices out there right now, right? It's sucking up resources one way or another. Now, whether or not you're already doing this, I don't know, but it should be something that's opt-in. If you are and it's not opt-in, you're an asshole, and we should all sue you and rob you of your money. However, if you did it this way, where when I sign up for Facebook, I get the opportunity to mine Facebook coin. Not a whole lot of my computing resources. And maybe you actually set it up on your end to where the draw is regulated by my actual use. If I'm actively navigating on my computer or whatever, or my other device, then you lay off of mining with my device. You cut it down to like 15% instead of 70% while I'm not present using the device. But you give me the opportunity to willingly sign up, opt in to mining. You make it part of the fucking app. And it's just running in the background all the time, right? I mean, your app is running in the background all the time anyway. It might as well be fucking doing something for me. But this takes care of all of this other bullshit. You have a fucking block reward, and you can set it up any fucking way you want. You could say quadrillion fucking coins, and block reward is issued every, 1 minute. And everybody mines it. You allow people the opportunity to join mining pools. You even allow people to mine it outside of being Facebook users. Okay, see, this takes care of all of this fucking, all this regulatory G7, fuck you, FDIC, fuck you, SEC, fuck you, all these people. Goodbye. Bye-bye. And you make it opt-in. You make it specifically opt-in. You have it listed on every fucking page that loads up on Facebook. Hey, would you like to... We notice that you're not currently signed up to mine. Would you like to dedicate... And this is the most important point. You do not fucking lie to people. Like, if I'm saying I want to dedicate 15% of my system resources to mining fucking Facebook coin, that you only used 15% of my possible mining resources, and you fucking pay me what that process resource is worth in Facebook coin, of course. Again, if you do it that way, you can get around all of this legal bullshit. You could sit there in that fucking United States congressional meeting there with the whole time, not say a fucking word, maybe even put some duct tape over your mouth so you can't say anything, and just sit there with both your middle fingers up the whole time. Maybe like have somebody cut a slit in it and put a straw in it so you can drink water through it and not blink at those motherfuckers while you got both your middle fingers up. And there isn't a goddamn thing they can do about it. But that is the way around this whole fucking minefield, is put it out to the public, man. If the 2 billion Facebook users out there want to mine your motherfucking coin, you would have the biggest fucking cryptocurrency network on the planet. And we're not even talking about, if people want to dedicate hashing farms to it. You've already got all the users. You could have all of the infrastructure set up just through people participating with Facebook coin with their fucking desktops and their tablets and their cell phones and whatnot. There you go. There's $1 trillion idea. Go do it, Facebook. You've got the money. But like I said, this is why I've always known that this is nothing but a fucking... This is like some sort of bait sheep, where it's poisoned, it's a fucking sheep, it's walking out there in the field and it's just waiting for coyotes and wolves and shit to attack it, and then they go and they die. And I don't know, it to me, this is just a bunch of fucking kabuki. I mean, if we read the white paper on this show, and it was like then, while we were reading we didn't even make it through the whole thing, where I was basically saying that there's no possible way they could make good on all of these claims. It is like the worst shitcoin white paper you have ever seen, and it is the complete wrong direction. If Facebook is actually serious about having a cryptocurrency, it's the complete wrong direction for them. But, I think this, in the longer term with cryptocurrencies, these are the things that we are going to work out. I've watched it multiple times with Bitcoin and then other cryptocurrencies popping up and ICOs and all that other shit, where there is a cycle to it all. And the level of participation that you're asking of your users, the more it is, the stronger your project will be. When Bitcoin came out originally, before it got like co-opted and monkey fucked and all that other thing, when it first came out, the developers were saying, please mine this thing. Dedicate a little bit of electricity and hardware and bandwidth to this project, and get paid for it in Bitcoin. And it grew to one of the biggest network on the planet. And then, of course, things changed, and the incentive structures have been all goofy on all of that. But altcoins are here to straighten that out. And Facebook coin, like I said, if they were serious, they would go about it in the same way that other altcoins did, where they would set up a Discord chan and a Telegram chan and an IRC chan, and get contact with people. Encourage other people to develop for it. Say, hey, yo, here's the code, man. Get in our discussion channel here in Slack, and let's hammer some shit out. Contribute to the project, and we'll pay you in coins. But like I said, I don't think they are serious about it. I think the whole presentation of Facebook coin is more or less a ruse, and it's giving them a reference point to look back at cryptocurrencies and say, hey, look, you're an asshole because these guys are being compliant and they're doing this, and who cares that it's JP Morgan, and who cares that their lobbyists worked me over with hundreds of thousands of dollars to say this shit to you. That it's just going to be the way it happens. But at the same time, we've seen these pressures come and we've seen them go in cryptocurrencies, and I don't think that trend is going to go away. It always seems like it's narrowing down, and then something happens and it expands back open again, like Facebook coin. There was kind of a narrowing, and then the presentation of Facebook coin came up, and that put an end to certain things, but it's also opened up some more things. For one thing, they can't even launch without getting forked. We read the white paper for another project that intends to fork them when they launch. You can't make this shit up, man. It's like every single fucked up thing that can happen to a cryptocurrency it has and will continue to happen to Facebook coin until they get it right. And the way to get it right, we've already laid it out once. I'm not going to repeat it again, but yeah, that's the way to do it. Get the public mining it. Yeah, it's the whole idea of stablecoins in my mind is that you're trying to dictate to the market what your coin is worth. It's like Tether says to the rest of the world, our coin is worth $1. We can't prove it. We don't necessarily have $1 to back it up, but it's worth $1. Trust us. I don't know about you, but I didn't get into cryptocurrency to trust anybody. Well, I trust if I can verify, right? Anyway, we got this next thing here. It's on Cointelegraph.com, and it's by Anna Alexander. So no penis. UK's central bank establishes provisions for Facebook's Libra. Like their central bank is anybody to dictate to Facebook how to do their shit, right? This is authored October 9th, 2019, so a little bit old, but not too old, right? The United Kingdom's central bank has established provisions that Facebook's yet-to-be-released Libra stablecoin must comply with in order to be issued in the country. The Bank of England presented its latest financial policy summary and record at the Financial Policy Committee meeting held on October 9th. The document, which addresses the resilience of the UK financial system in general, discusses innovative developments in the payment sector, noting that Libra has the potential to become a, quote, systematically important payment system. Launching of new payment systems. The FPC pointed out that it would require payment systems like Libra to meet the highest standards of resilience and fall under relevant supervisory oversight. Moreover, the The committee urged regulators to adopt terms of engagement for innovative payment systems prior to their launch. The document further states, quote, "The resilience of the proposed Libra system would rely on the stability of not just the core elements of the Libra Association and Libra Reserve, but the associated critical activities conducted by other firms in the Libra ecosystem, such as validators, exchanges, or wallet providers." World's regulators' skepticism towards Libra. Earlier in October, Randall Corley's chair of the Financial Stability Board, claimed that the potential scale of stablecoins such as Facebook's Libra could potentially bring a new scale and scope to the space, which the financial regulatory community must carefully consider. Corl said, quote, "Although there is a small risk of financial stability today, there's no doubt the potential scale of stablecoins and other crypto assets yet to emerge may pose regulatory challenges." Recently, French and German finance ministers also expressed skepticism regarding Libra, arguing that the project should not be authorized on European soil as it would imperil countries' monetary sovereignty. No, it wouldn't. Meanwhile, Lucas Geiger, co-founder of the blockchain infrastructure startup Wireline, announced Open Libra, a permissionless fork of Facebook's planned blockchain network. Yeah, that's what Lucas Geiger, yeah, that's what you should do. Exactly what I told Facebook to do. Oh, wow. We might do this one. Anyway, so yeah, I think that the oh shit, I got rid of the article that I was reading. How the hell did I do that? Damn it, Jim. Anyway, no, that's not it. That's not it. Damn it, Jim. Oh, there we go. UK. Yeah, Cointelegraph does this thing where their articles scroll one into the other, and I found one that I liked, and damn it, now I can't. Shit. Now I can't get back to the article that led me to this one. Pissing me off, man. But yeah, the European Union, any of those entities trying to tell Facebook how to do their shit, I just think it's premature, and I don't really think they're going to be very successful at it. You know, I mean, like I said, we're talking about there being a permissionless fork of Libra before it even gets its launch. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And as far as where we're going to go next, let's do a little Ministry. Lies, Lies, Lies. Here on Coin Metal.
We have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government.
And that was Slayer with Skeletons of Society. And so as far as where we're going to go next, I got a few articles here lined up. Not in any particular order. Let's see, where's that one? No, I don't want to go there yet. Yeah, here we go. This is by Aaron Wood. It's on Cointelegraph.com. Libra Association holds inaugural meeting, forms board. And this is authored approximately 5 hours ago. But yes, penis. The Libra Association, the governing body of Facebook's proposed stablecoin, held its inaugural meeting today in Geneva, Switzerland. According to a report from Reuters. What? No, we're not going to do that. Bye-bye Cointelegraph. Hello Reuters. And this is authored by Tom Wilson and Katie Paul. Ha. So yes penis and no penis. Facebook's Libra announces board as support shrinks further. Oh, this is certainly a better sounding article than the one we were just about to read. Continuing on, London/San Francisco rooters. Backers of Facebook Inc.'s Libra cryptocurrency project pledged to forge ahead after selecting a 5-member board on Monday, shrugging off the latest member defection by online travel company Booking Holding earlier in the day. Quote, "It is a correction, it is not a setback," said Dante Disparte, head of policy and communications for the Libra Association, whose 21 remaining members held their inaugural meeting in Geneva. The owner of Priceline, Kayak, and Booking.com on Monday confirmed that it had pulled out of the group, which is trying to bring digital coins into mainstream commerce. Libra lost its last global payments backers on Friday when MasterCard Inc. and Visa Inc. abandoned the Geneva-based Libra Association. eBay Inc., fintech startup Stripe, and payments company Mercado Pago also pulled the plug. The exodus followed warnings from politicians and regulators from the United States to Europe that Libra risked upsetting global financial stability, undermining users' privacy, and facilitating money laundering. Who cares? The latest withdrawals followed the departure of PayPal Holdings Inc. from the Libra Association earlier this month. It leaves Facebook without the backing of any major payments firms for the project, due to launch June 2020. Disparte acknowledged the digital currency's regulatory issues could push back its launch date. At the meeting in Geneva, members agreed interim articles of association laying out how the organization will be governed as required by Swiss law, according to a fact sheet provided by the Libra Association. God damn it, why isn't there a link to that? Most decisions will require a majority vote of the group's governing council, although changes to membership or management of the reserve would require a 2/3 supermajority. The group elected 5 people to serve on the board, including Facebook's David Marcus, as well as representatives from PayU, venture firm Andreessen Horowitz, blockchain company Zappo Holdings Limited, and non-profit Kiva Microfunds. The association's other prominent remaining members include Vodafone Group plc, a ride-hailing firm and ride-hailing firms Uber Technologies and Lyft Inc. Its only payments firm remaining is Netherlands-based PayU, which, according to its website, does not operate in the United States, Canada, or large swaths of Africa and the Middle East. So, 2/3 of the planet is a no-go. The departure of major financial firms means Facebook can no longer count on a global player to help consumers turn their currency into Libra and facilitate transactions. This presents a new stumbling block for Libra's efforts to convince regulators and politicians about the coin's safety. France pledged last month to block Libra from operating in Europe, while the Bank of England laid out high hurdles it must meet before its launch. U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has also suggested the project could not advance before concerns were assuaged. Libra announced as Facebook expands into e-commerce will be backed by a reserve of real-world assets, including bank deposits and short-term government securities, and overseen by the Libra Association. Yeah, see, that's where you fuck up. That's where all that custodial bullshit comes in. Anyway, continuing on. The structure is intended to foster trust and stabilize the price volatility that plagues cryptocurrencies and renders them impractical for commerce and payments. Yeah, it's not going to do anything like that. The fact of the matter is that cryptocurrencies are volatile because your participation in them wanes and shifts and moves along, and that creates dynamism on the supply side of it, and also the price side. The thing of it is that Libra doesn't actually trust you to know how to value the resources that you expend on mining a cryptocurrency. That's the whole reason to have it as a quote unquote stable coin is to associate it with something that already has value. Now, whether that association is real or simply fictional, as most stable coins are, is unbeknownst to the public. You don't have any say in it. And I think this is where Facebook's coin will fail if it ever launches. The whole governance, the whole idea of governance outside of people actually dedicating mining to it is silly to me. This idea that some league of 21 people is going to tell you what version of the software to run on your computer or your miners or whatever. Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And I'll give you a perfect example of why. Look at Ethereum. For several years now, they have been making Ethereum into proof of stake. It has failed to happen. Several Ethereum improvement proposals have come, and several have gone, and they have yet to go to proof of stake. I mean, they've gone so far as to the Ethereum Association or whatever. They've gone so far as to start pushing Ethereum 2. And I said something to that effect, like, I don't know, at least like 2 years ago, that if people wanted to sign up to mine a proof of stake coin, they would have signed up and mined a proof of stake coin. But instead, no, they chose a proof of work coin, which Ethereum is. And so that's what they're continuing to mine. So yeah, whether or not they will ever switch over to making it a proof of stake coin, that is yet to be seen. But it has been a desire of the Ethereum Association for at least the last 2 years now to convert it over to a proof of stake coin. And like I said, the EIPs have come and gone, and it's still a proof of work coin. So, that's one of the reasons why Facebook or Libra or whatever, or Calibra, it's one of the reasons why they elect to have designated governance, okay, where they have entities that are eligible, and it excludes the vast majority of the public. These are entities that potentially can be regulated, and we'll take into account taxation and shit, whereas most people won't. It's not a requirement, and it introduces a shit ton of crap that most people would just rather avoid, and so they do. But yeah, so this is the place, the point where Facebook will fail, is because they are trying to be the fiduciary. They're trying to be the entity that says, we have, $30 billion worth of gold certificates and short-term bonds and all this other shit as our basket. It exists. Whether or not they will actually ever provide an audit of it, that's an entirely different story. They could, you can have a blockchain that supposedly represents gold that you have and not actually have the gold. This is one of the problems that all of these cryptocurrency projects, there was a proliferation of commodity-backed cryptocurrencies, enough so that I made an episode dedicated to nothing but that, and they all had the same like fingerprints, where they were based in Switzerland, that has some laxity with regard to actual custody of claimed volumes of commodities and other such financial tools. So like bonds and stocks and certificates and actual gold and actual volumes of oil, they're kind of lax when it comes to that shit. And so we saw this proliferation. They were all based in Zug, Switzerland. I mean, so the regulatory scrutiny there is so low that they're able to get away with shit that they're not even able to get away with in the rest of the cantons of Switzerland. So, again, it's like if you're in the UK, but you decide that you want to do business in the British Virgin Islands or the Isle of Man, you're looking specifically for a jurisdiction that you can operate in and not have the same amount of regulatory scrutiny as you would experience in, say, the US or the UK proper. London. If you were to try and operate in London, they'd be, fuck you. You're money laundering. You're doing all kinds of shit. No, we're not going to let you do that. We require you to have an existing banking relationship with another bank outside of our jurisdiction that is licensed to operate within our jurisdiction, and then maybe we'll let you do banking in some other market operations within our jurisdiction. But where cryptocurrencies get around all of that is that we have uniform protocols. When you're mining on the Bitcoin network, there are a limited number of variants that you could be mining and potentially be getting rewarded for it. But again, Facebook, you can't do that, because the fact of the matter is that there will come a time, and in the not so distant future, I think where Facebook could serve a good purpose by being a kind of a sacrificial lamb, where they're placed under certain regulatory scrutiny and their efforts to comply with it will set an example or a standard where a standard can be established for anybody operating in the same capacities, but the thing is we've seen over the last probably 2 or 3 years now, with the creation of Tether stablecoins. There isn't a single one of them, not a single one. And I'm talking about including USDC and GUSD. Both of these are associated with well-established legacy operators. USDC is Goldman Sachs via Circle, and GUSD is through Gemini, which is the Winklevi twins. Supposedly, they have enough money that they can back their own stable coin, right? USDC, none of them have had an actual audit. A clear audit that establishes that no, these funds are not commingled from anywhere else on our balance sheet. We haven't taken customers from long-term investments, and we haven't taken their liquidity and counted it as an asset in our basket of assets that we're commodifying with our token here. There's never been anything like that for any stablecoin. Yet they're treated as proxies for US dollars on various exchanges throughout the world. It's my belief that they're all counterfeit. That there isn't a single one of them that has dedicated funds on hand right now to match $1 for one of their tokens in circulation at this moment. Not a single one. And so the idea of Facebook being able to do it and being able to divert responsibility by having several layers of entities between them and it is fucking silly. They've got Libra, the Libra Association, and then Calibra, and I think there's another group of entities that are devoted to Calibra and the Libra Association, and it's It's a whole clusterfuck worth of entities. And the reason for that is to divert responsibility. When you're looking at like a cryptocurrency that's out there live right now and has been for a while, like Verge. Okay, there's no several like onion layers to Verge. You know, I mean, I have little philosophical discussions and political discussions with the fucking developer for Verge on Facebook all the fucking time, man. Look at my Facebook page. There's shit between me and Soonrock all the time. You know, and so, you know, if I had something to say to him about Verge currency, be like, hey man, you know, the new wallet sucks or whatever. I can do that on Facebook. You know, I can send a message to him, either an instant message or even a public version of the message, and he could see that. You know, you're not going to have that kind of contact with Mark Zuckerberg or anybody in the Libra Association or Calibra that direct, you know, person to person, hey, your project is fucking up and you need to fix this shit. And that's another point where a lot of altcoins failed, was in their contact with their communities. And, you know, with regard to Verge, we hammered a lot of that shit out just straight in IRC. You know, where somebody would say, hey, you know, I'm having problems, you know, recovering my seed, or, you know, I'm having problems sweeping funds into my wallet, you know, and within minutes, people would respond to them and give them operational information they could go to, you know, either resources online or tell them specifically what they need to do to fix the situation. You know, how many peers do you have? Are you actually connected? Are you synced? You know, those kind of things. And so I think, again, this is one of those places where Facebook coin is going to fail, is the lack of public interface. You know, first, it's lack of public participation, direct public participation, individual public participation. We're going to cut that out for everything except for end user. You know, you might be able to earn it. You might be able to spend it, but that's all you can do. You can't mine it. Not willingly or knowingly, anyway. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the points where Facebook coin is going to fail. They're either going to evolve into a coin that is mined by the public and managed entirely by the miners and the developers that present proposals, Facebook coin improvement proposals. Yeah, I don't see it working. But yeah, anyway, I got one more article here before we go back to a music break. It's on Cointelegraph.com. It's by Anna Alexander, and it was authored 10 hours ago. So no penis. Booking Holdings leaves Facebook's Libra Association. Leading online travel company Booking Holdings has ditched the Libra Association, the governing consortium of Facebook's proposed Libra stablecoin. Booking Holdings has thus become the latest in an array of companies that has abandoned the project, leaving it with 21 founding members out of the initial 28 organizations. Bloomberg reported on October 14th. Why are we reading this article if we can't? God damn it. Oh, suck a dick. I'm not a robot. Bloomberg. Come on. Why did this happen? Yeah, whatever. Fucking assholes. Probably want me to close my blocking shit. You know, that is one thing that annoys me in all media, is this paywall bullshit. I'm not going to pay for your fucking article. You're either going to give it to me for free, or I'm going to read it somewhere else, or the information somewhere else, just like we're going to do here. We were going to go to Bloomberg and give them proper attribution and all that other bullshit, but because I have a blocker, a cookie blocker, and all that other shit on my browser, they don't want to let us view So fuck you, Bloomberg. Continuing. A promising start. Booking Holdings, which stands behind travel sites Booking.com, Priceline.com, Agoda.com, and Kayak, among others, became a founding member of the Libra Association in June. In August, Booking Holdings CEO Glenn Fogel said that he believes that blockchain-based currencies will continue to grow and could become more popular. At the time, Fogel predicted that cash will be rarely used in the future, adding that he sees that the potential for a new form of global currency that is protected and secure. Quote, when Bitcoin became well known, many questioned its legitimacy, and while the jury is still out on the future of Bitcoin, I do believe currencies with a blockchain base will continue to surface and may become more widely accepted across the globe, especially outside the US, which has a well-accepted credit card payment system. I don't think that's going to continue too much longer. Ahead of upcoming Mark Zuckerberg testimony. The move comes ahead of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's testimony on Libra before the House of Representatives Financial Services Committee on October 23rd. Announcing the meeting, Congresswoman, Maxine Waters, mentioned the draft bill, quote, Keep Big Tech Out of Finance Act, which is designed to ban large tech firms from getting licensed as financial institutions in the United States. Yeah, they don't have to do that, Maxine. They can completely circumvent you. I told them how on this very show. There we go. Previously, Libra Wallet CEO David Marcus testified before the House Financial Services Committee and the Senate Banking Committee in regard to Libra's development and its features. Marcus claimed that Facebook intends to be compliant with the U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network in distributing Libra. However, some lawmakers met Marcus's statements with skepticism and concern. Earlier today, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin attributed the recent spate of firms abandoning Facebook's Libra stablecoin project to regulatory concerns, although some industry stakeholders believe the policymakers pressured companies to leave the project. Yeah, I believe that too. As a matter of fact, we read the evidence of it on this show. So, the whole thing is, like I said, I think it's kind of kabuki. They put the arm on industry players that are wanting to get into the Libra Association, and then Steven Mnuchin says, "Oh look, there were 80 of your motherfuckers bailed on you because of regulatory concerns." Yeah, it's because 2 Congress people wrote a letter and sent it to all of them saying, "Hey, if you continue on this project, we're going to start fucking regulating you a bit harder. We're going to look into all of your finances." If that's enough to scare you, you probably shouldn't be in finance to begin with. I mean that. If you are so afraid of a full audit that you would like abandon your participation in Libra, that's very concerning to me. And I've said this before that when we read BitLicense on this show, I said it while I was reading the damn thing that there isn't a single entity on Wall Street that could adhere or that could afford to comply with the level of regulatory scrutiny that the NYDFS was putting on entities that wanted a bit license. I mean, there is not a single one. And so, they're probably pointing at Facebook and saying, yeah, you're going to have to comply with this shit too. And that's not going to work. Facebook isn't going to be able to do it. I mean, really, 2 billion users. And like several million of which will be within New York. And they'll have to keep track of all of their transactions and all their financial activity and all the associations of people that associate with them and their financial activity. Dude, I'm telling you, Facebook would go broke trying to comply with the NYDFS's demands under BitLicense before they would actually succeed with Libra. And I mean, I know I kind of fearmonger this fucking project, but I mean, I've been a Facebook user for quite a while. I'm still a Facebook user. And you know, it's like, it's sad to me that they would even bother. You know, because the fact of the matter is the platform is just fine for you to be sending cryptocurrencies to other people. But, you know, instead of just sitting back and existing as a platform and making their ad revenue and all that, no. They got to get into making money, making actual money, and being a bank. And no, Facebook, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. I'm telling you. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And I want some Sixth. I've been feeling the need for Sixth. And so here we go. Behind the Doors. Here on Coin Metal. And that was Textures with Oceans Collide. So we got a little bit more before the end of this here episode. And, yeah. So the first thing I got it here is on newsbtc.com. And hopefully we'll actually stay on this one instead of Waiver. Anyway, I don't know if this is the one we covered the other day. Let me see. Because this one was authored only 14 hours ago, so it can't possibly be the same one that we read the other day. This is on newsbtc.com. U.S. Senators coercing Libra partners is un-American. Coinbase CEO. Actually, it's quite American. That's why Bitcoin was originally designed as a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. Because that's how it's intended to operate. Anyway, this is by David Babian. So yes, penis. And this was authored 14 hours ago. Facebook's plan to launch Libra came under further pressure after its partners Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe announced that they were leaving the digital currency project. And as it turned out, there was some political pushing involved. Senator Brian Schatz and Sherrod Brown sent letters to the chief executive officers of Visa, MasterCard, and Stripe, wherein they asked the trio to quit Facebook's Libra project. The politicians iterated that the social media giant had failed to respond to regulatory concerns related to money laundering, terrorist financing, economic stability, and monetary policy. They further reminded the executives about Facebook's track record of misusing users' data. Quote, "Your company should be extremely cautious about moving ahead with a project that will foreseeably fuel the growth in global criminal activity," the senators wrote. The language turned threatening as both Schatz and Brown warned Visa CEO Alfred F. Kelly Jr., Stripe CEO Patrick Collinson, and MasterCard CEO President Ajaypal Singh Banga of consequences should they not quit Libra. The senators intimidated the trio that they would impose additional scrutiny if they decided to move against their recommendations. Quote, "If you take this on, you can expect a high level of scrutiny from regulators, not only on Libra-related payment activities, but upon all payment activities," they wrote. Coinbase CEO bashes U.S. senators. Facebook did not provide any statement on the matter, but Brian Armstrong, the chief executive of San Francisco-based Coinbase cryptocurrency exchange, strongly objected to the way lawmakers went after Libra members. In a thread published on Sunday, Armstrong called the senator's behavior, quote, un-American, adding that they both were resorting to intimidation tactics. Quote, it doesn't matter what you think of Libra, it's not a useful tool or innovation. If it's not a useful tool or innovation, people won't use it. Why the need for intimidation tactics? This would be called anti-competitive/monopolistic behavior if any private company did it, Armstrong tweeted. Quote, do we want to have a centrally planned economy or let 1,000 ideas be tried in a free market to see which ones might break through and deliver real value? Breakthroughs are by definition contrarian ideas, otherwise they would have already been tried. Aviva Leighton, vice president at Gartner Research, raised similar concerns. In her interview with CNBC, the analyst noted that governments are afraid of losing their authority to emerging technology projects like Libra. She also mentioned Bitcoin, a non-sovereign asset, for scaring governments with its potential to replace all their monopoly. Quote, in the case of Libra, you replace central authority with task force authority and big tech authority. In the case of Bitcoin, you just replace all central authority, said Leighton. I can't agree more. Absolutely. Squawkbox said governments are threatened by both Libra and Bitcoin, says Avavi. We already read that. Yeah, and that's pretty much the case. That the government lost this fight 10 years ago when Bitcoin's network first was operational. From that point forward, the monopoly on the production of money or monetary units, that is, that just went away. And I know that they're late in coming to terms with that, but it's just a fact of life. It's already happened, and there really is no going back. But here's that dynamic that I was talking about earlier, where the U.S. senators pressured them, they reacted by bailing, and then this guy, Steven Mnuchin. This is on Coindesk.com. Steven Mnuchin comes along. U.S. Treasury Secretary, quote, regulatory fears forced Libra exodus. Yeah. Action-reaction. This is by David Pan. It was authored October 14th, 2019 at 1700 UTC. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said backers of Facebook's cryptocurrency Libra dropped out of the project over concerns that the stablecoin project would not meet regulatory standards. Speaking on CNBC, Mnuchin said that if Libra wouldn't meet U.S. money laundering standards via the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, it could open them up to enforcement actions. Quote, I think they realize that they're not ready, they're not up to par, Mnuchin said, and I assume some of the partners got concerned and dropped out until they meet those standards. Mnuchin said he met with Libra representatives on multiple occasions to reiterate his stance on the regulatory enforcement of the stablecoin. 6 major Libra backers, Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, eBay, Mercado Pago, along with PayPal, withdrew from the Libra Association, a non-profit organization designed to govern the new cryptocurrency. And it's not even one of those. On Friday, Visa spokesperson told Coindesk, quote, we will continue to evaluate our ultimate decision. And our ultimate decision will be determined by a number of factors, including the association's ability to fully satisfy all requisite regulatory expectations, which it cannot possibly. The withdrawals were followed by a draft report from the G7 working group. Oh, we've been looking for that. On the global stablecoins, evaluating projects like Libra as a potential threat to the international financial stability due to regulatory challenges. The working group, along with the Financial Stability Board, presented a range of issues circling stablecoins, including data privacy and protection, CFT and KYC compliance, tax evasion, fair competition, and market integrity. Yeah, whatever. I feel the same way that Brian Armstrong does about this. His opinion, as mine is also, is derived from actual observance of this market and its development and growth. There hasn't been a single word by any of these entities, any of the regulatory bodies, any of them, any of the central bankers. There hasn't been anything that has been done by them that has enhanced cryptocurrencies in the least. It has all been up to people like you. And so this idea that Facebook is going to come along and do the same exact thing that you, the guy listening right now, you could do the same exact thing that Facebook is doing, that somehow they're going to be able to exert dominance over you, they're going to be able to exert influence over you, they're going to be able to tell you how to do shit. It's completely silly. If you don't want to use Facebook coin, you can avoid using Facebook coin. You could actually disassociate with Facebook entirely. And then they have absolutely no control over anything you do. And this is the challenge that is being faced by central bankers and other cryptocurrencies alike. That now the choice is up to the people again. It hasn't been for a very long time. But I will say this, that according to archaeological evidence and anthropological evidence of this nation, of the United States in particular, and actually elsewhere, if you watch enough videos on YouTube, you will see this, that the idea of a monopoly on the production of monetary units and standards is a new thing. It's only existed because we have not been able to communicate with one another in the way that we are at this very moment. We didn't have the capability to yell across to one another, the price of gold is 47 cents an ounce. We didn't have a capability of doing that. And so we had to have universal monetary units that everybody understood what it was. It's like, this is $1. This is roughly a quart of milk and a dozen eggs or something like that. That there's a basis for it, of course, set in gold at one point, and of course we've deviated from that since. But that's beside the point. Originally, it did have a base in gold that gave it a base in a real world commodity that it was directly exchangeable for. Once that relationship was broken, it's been just a trust relationship ever since. We've been transacting in IOUs issued by banks against our efforts, and we're supposedly all slaves to them that produce the value of the coin. It's neither here nor there. The point being that when Bitcoin came out, it created a new monetary unit for us to stuff monetary value into. And from that point forward, every monetary unit out there has been on a re-leveled playing field with the average person. And where I was going is that the idea of a single monetary unit, though, that's been a relatively new thing. If you watch on YouTube, if you go on YouTube and you look up metal detecting videos, you'll see videos of people finding coins from the 1600s here in Oregon, from China. Why do you think they had them? It's because people were using them as money, either due to the numismatic value of it, because there was some sort of community here that was recognizing Chinese currency as actual currency, or perhaps the metal content itself, because silver and gold have a pretty universal appeal amongst humans as a monetary medium. And so again, in like Vermont and Virginia and stuff, when they're doing metal detecting back there, they find British coins, they find Spanish coins, they find colony coins, they find United States coins. But the point being is, there wasn't a single monetary medium that people could transact with. But we're going back to that there isn't going to be a single monetary medium that we can transact with, and they will not be all accountable to any taxation board, any regulatory organization, any of that. They're going to be bound to the wills and the wiles of the people using them, mining them, exchanging them on exchanges. Those are going to be the determiners of the market, or what the market values. It's not going to be the little safe stamp of approval that's put on a coin by the Financial Stability Board or any other organization. And we are going to go forward into this market kicking and screaming, or fully willingly. But either way, we are going to get there. And it is with that I'd like to close out this episode. Thank you very much for listening. I certainly do appreciate the support. We will be back again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so until then, I want y'all to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else can do it for you. Certainly not the G7. As far as our last dance is concerned, I heard these guys once again last night, and so I think it's only appropriate that I should play them. And so here it is. Red Fang, Last Dance, Dawn Rising, here on Coin Metal. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening. Good night.